apparent and current Nasdaq President and COO Adena Friedman will step into the role come January 1st when current CEO Bob Greifeld steps down to retire. While her ascension was widely anticipated and broken, quite frankly, here on Fox Business, what will she do to bring the expanding global markets operator to the next level? Let's bring in Adena Friedman. She's here with us now. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Oh, this is so exciting. Look, from intern nearly 20 years ago to CEO, this is a great American story.
Thank you. Thank you.
As you look at this, what's the first thing you want to tackle?
Well, the first thing is to recognize that Bob and I have been working together for a long time. In the last 2 years, he has continued to allow me to have a great amount of autonomy as we've been developing new strategies for the businesses and making sure that we drive as much value as we can to our clients in all of the businesses that we operate. So really, for me, the next step is just to make sure that we continue down the mission that we're on to provide great critical market infrastructure as well as market operations to the capital market.
Well, yeah, but you're also a publicly traded company, and people own this stock, and it's fascinating to watch what the stock market has done since the election. Obviously, the new president-elect wants to do a bunch of things. Specifically, some of them would be either, and we keep using the word curtail or vaporize, something called Dodd-Frank. And if our viewers don't know what that is, this is the financial crisis era regulation that came into play to avoid, or at least the hopes of avoiding the next financial crisis. He's going to do something to it. Do you say it should be modified or vaporized?
Well, what we look at is we have to remember the history that resulted in Dodd-Frank and make sure that at the end of the day, Dodd-Frank was originally created to create safeguards for investors and for people who are trying to save money for retirement and to make sure that they could have make sure their life savings were safe.
But a lot of companies say it's really hurt their ability, particularly the banks, to grow.
Right. So I would also say, though, that whenever you have that kind of sweeping regulation, there are always unintended consequences that come from it. So as a result, I think one of the key areas that we've been focused on is the fact that a lot of the banks are no longer able to add liquidity into the markets like they were before, and to make responsible risk-taking that is really critical to the capital markets, as well as to the ability to lend to small and medium-sized businesses. So we really hope that we could see some modification of Dodd-Frank that we think will create more opportunities for the banks to play the role that they're meant to play in the economy.
Look, a lot has changed, not just since you were an intern, but since you left for a short, brief time and then have come back to the Nasdaq as COO, and much of that has to do with the new players in the world, the high-frequency guys and the new sort of dark pools where people can trade without identifying what kind of trades that they're making. We're all, in a way, just one idea away from becoming obsolete. What is the Nasdaq going to do to make sure it's not the next one?
So, first of all, technology has always been a huge part of our DNA, and it will continue to be. So we are always looking at emerging technologies and how they can be applied into the capital markets to create the most efficient and effective markets for investors and for market participants. And I think that as we continue to look at some of the emerging technologies that are coming, we think there's actually great potential for a market infrastructure player like Nasdaq to continue to provide great value to the capital markets.
What happened to the IPO market? We are on track. And I always think of the Nasdaq because it nabs some of the coolest IPOs. We're on track for the worst IPO market since they've been keeping records, and it's terrible for 2016. How do we get companies to go public again?
Well, first of all, we had a pretty strong 2015, but 2016 started off in a pretty volatile environment with the Asian markets selling off, and that created a tone for the year that made it so it was investors were pretty concerned about putting their risk capital to work, also in the election year, and some volatility that came from that entire process. As we saw as we went into the fall, we started to see the markets open up, some really great companies come to market, some great technology companies come to market, and we continue to have a backlog of companies that are interested in tapping the public markets. Nasdaq this year has had a 74% win rate and over 80% win rate in technology companies. So we're really pleased with our own performance.
Well, here we go. And the Nasdaq has had a fabulous day today, up 57 points, finally perking its head up after a couple of down sessions. And the Dow makes it the 4th record in a row for the close. Adena Friedman of the Nasdaq, congratulations and good.